What's up, guys? You guys see me or no? Buka Arts, what's up, man? How's everything? How you making out? I'm trying to figure this out. I haven't did a live in years, a long time. So I'm trying to get back to this, but I hope everyone's doing good out there. How's everyone making out? How many people I got out there? I got 13 people in the chat so far. Let's get some more people. How you doing? Do you guys hear me? Kevin, what's up, Kevin? How you making out? How's life treating you? See if I can fix this a little. Give me a minute, guys. Let's see if we can do this like this. There you go. Okay. Yeah. What's up? So there's so much going on in the world today. I wanted to start doing some lives and talk about everything, whether it's relationships, family, struggle, life experience, everything, right? Boca Arts, Bobby, what's up, Bobby? Kevin, thanks for showing up. It's good to see you. It's been a long time. Looks like you lost some weight. I'm trying, man. I gotta. I'm trying to stay in shape over here. Getting old. 56 years old. Ain't no young buck no more. Back in the day, I used to be able to walk through walls. Now I'm lucky I could walk. But thank God I could walk. A lot of things change in the course of life, time. Time goes by so fast. Do you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you hear me. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you hear me. Do you hear me? Okay, beautiful. Let me see. Okay, I'll put up a little. There you go. How about now? A little better? Okay. Cuddy Dave, how are you? How's everything? 25 people in the chat. I haven't did this in a long time, And I want to come back. I want to come back to YouTube. I want to come back the right way. Like I want to get a studio. I want to put a nice studio together. I want a co-host. I want to get some new interviews. I had a few people reach out to me. They wanted me to interview them. So, I want to get back to doing this. You can have a lot of fun with this. I met a lot of good people on here. And in a way, I miss it, Bobby, how's everything? How's Staten Island? How's the arts? Beck Brooklyn, what's up, Beck? How you making out? Beck, man, I'm always in your neighborhood. I'm always over there near the Barclays Center. I gotta come see you, man. We gotta do something. Maybe do something with the kids. I don't know, take them to the park. We can get them some pizza, maybe a lemon ice or something, Bless you always, Jimmy. Edwin Jimenez. What's up, Edwin? How you making out? Long time no see, right? Long time. You know, I don't even know how to do this anymore. Like it took me like an hour just to figure this out. So, hopefully I could get back to doing this. I got 33,000 subscribers, 33,000 friends, family. But the thing is, it doesn't grow. It stays at 33,000. So I would love to get up to like 100,000. I love to get that plaque, that YouTube plaque, and just hang it on the wall. Who else I got in here? Let's see, 27 people. You're still able to walk Bath Avenue. My friend, I walk everywhere. Believe me. Like Joey Molino says, I can go anywhere. I can go anywhere. I'm saying I don't go with a whole bunch of people. I go by myself. I travel alone. I like it like that. I'm not these other big shots where they want to talk the talk or that bullshit. You know, I travel alone. I like it like that. Okay, let me see. Okay, there you go. Of course, you know that. Always taking care of my kids. Everyone knows that. My kids come first in my life. They're my greatest masterpiece. But how's everyone doing out there? How's life? How's life treating you? Well, today I'm gonna see my kids later on today. I'm out and about. I just been working. I'm trying to work on my retirement. I'll tell you, New York City with this Mandami, and I'll get into Mandami. Of course, I don't care for him personally. I don't like him. I don't care for him. I just feel like the guy's a terrorist. You know, he don't want to walk the Israel Day parade tomorrow, and I feel like what, you should be united with people instead of dividing people. But let me learn how to work this, and I'll be coming on here definitely more often for sure. So let me give a shout out to Beck. Beck, I haven't seen you in a long time. Actually, I was talking to SoFlo, and I asked for you. I said, how's fucking Beck? I haven't seen Beck in so long. Here he is. No, I actually just woke up. Let's see what else is going on. Germany had the best Israel Day parade in the 40s. In front of King's 200 Park. Robert Ganji, is that where you are right now? Manhattan? The kids are good. Rob, the kids are good. The kids are always good, thank God. My daughter, she's going to be graduating next year. She'll go to college. So we're talking about that. So that's a nice thing. My kids are getting big, God bless all our children. Jimenez, how's everything? I like to see I don't even know how to drop a link over here to have one of you guys come on here. That's how I'm so out of this loop. Tell us a Bath Avenue story. I want to start telling Bath Avenue stories again. I do. Bath Avenue, when I go back to Beth Avenue, it was a different time. Today's crazy times. Back then, it was mostly, Italian neighborhood. You had a couple Spanish people, Puerto Ricans, a couple black people on the avenue, but it was a time where it was a special time. We had a lot of social clubs, pizzerias, Italian bakeries. It was a nice time, especially growing up with my friends. And I look back, all my friends I lost, who was murdered, who overdosed with drugs, life experience. I'm reading the comments. He told me I've been done with YouTube. Any banana family stories? Well, there's a lot of stories. Every day's a story of life. Just going to work, struggling with your everyday thoughts, trying to make something happen, you know, and not getting ahead in life. You know, Unfortunately, in America, what do? We go to work to pay bills, right? Good morning, Jimmy. Keep your channel going. You got an awesome redemption story. Well, gone fishing. Thank you. I'll tell you, I like to go fishing. I might have went fishing twice in my life. The first time it was fun. The second time I really didn't care for it. I tell you the truth. Just waiting there to catch a fish. Don't you wish you go back in time? Yeah, I wish I go back in time. I tell you, I wish I go back in time where I could see my grandparents, my parents. Those are the people I really miss. I remember back in the day, like I passed by Stillwell Avenue yesterday near L&B, and my grandparents lived right next door from L&B Pizzeria. Now it's a Russian place, but on top of that Russian place, my grandparents lived. And years ago, you know, we all used to sit out and we would order food. Uh, Michael DeSantis' brother, Frankie DeSantis, he would order all kinds of food from a restaurant located on McDonald Avenue and Avenue U. I forgot the name of the restaurant. And all this food would come and we all be eating outside, you know. But it was a time, it was a special time, and I had a big family. So, when I saw all my family members, whether they were uncles, aunts, I always kissed them hello. And like I was telling somebody before over the phone, it was always at the end, whether it was a phone call or a conversation with your parents or someone in your family, was always, I love you. You always told the people you love, I love you. A lot of people didn't have that. I had that in my family. My mother and father were very good people. My father worked the same job for 33 years, never got to enjoy the fruits of his labor. So, you got to enjoy life. And I also realize, being a father now, it's not what you give your children, it's the time you spend with your children. That's what's very important. So don't make this time go by, because time is precious. We all gonna lose it. Like we're here today, gone tomorrow. So this is just some wise words I'm giving you people, you know. But some of you people are smarter than me. I uh, I learn every day. I fell down, got back up, but I tell you, I'm on a different path now. I really am, and I feel like I turned everything around. So I don't socialize with a lot of people. I basically do my own thing. I got a lot of good people in my life, and I'm always here to help somebody. At the end of the day, I know people need help, whether it's moral support, whether it's, some kind words to give somebody. Everybody's going through something. So understand that. So if you could be there for somebody, be there for somebody. Robert Ganji, let me see what you're saying. Been there, had a few run-ins with Papa. He didn't like us. We all got smacked once in a while from him. CD Edie. Of course, I remember CD Edie. I remember the daughter Barbara. Can I every so often I see her in the neighborhood, like from the neighborhood. I just see her like wandering or something. But of course, I remember all these people back in the day. But you guys, you talk about CD Edie. I'm not sure if you guys remember back in the day when I was a kid. Underneath CD Edie on 21st Avenue, Bath Avenue, that's where Jerry Pappas social club was. Originally, his social club was over there. So I'm not sure if you guys remember that. Underneath CD Edie was Jerry Pappas social club. And eventually then Jerry Papa, he went over to 14th Avenue, and that's where eventually he got killed. But, because this guy talks about Jerry Papa, Robert Ganji talks about Jerry Papa. And, Jerry Papa killed Georgie Adamo's father, Georgie Crowbar. Now, Georgie Crowbar was a tough guy. And, these guys all were friendly at one time. They all did business with each other. So eventually, Georgie Crowbar and a friend of his, what's his name? His name's on the top of my mind. I can't get it right now. But I have all these photos of Georgie Crowbar, Eddie Leno, Frankie Hart. Frankie Hart was the guy that got blown up with Frankie DeChico on 86th Street. Frankie Hart was a Lucchese member, got straightened out with the Lucchese crew. Georgie Crowbar never got straightened out. And Charlie LaRocca and Georgie Crowbar was murdered, gag tied, and murdered and found in a van right on the same block on where Persico lives. So, Jerry Papa killed both of them. And Jerry Papa killed a lot of people, killed a lot of his friends. And if you had any money or anything, he probably plot on you and kill you. If you gave him something, whether it was dope, cocaine, a lot of drugs back then. Eddie Leno was in the drug business. Georgie Crowbar was in the drug business. All these people in the drug business back then. And I got photos of all these people. I want to do a story on all of them because all these guys were friendly. Frankie Hart, Georgie Crowbar, Charlie LaRocca, a few other guys. And, these guys like us, we were, grew up with friends and a lot of them were murdered. So, but there's photos of Frankie Hart holding little Georgie Adamo when he was a baby. Photos of Eddie Leno when he was younger with Georgie Crowbar. And they always used to hang out with each other, And, they were all in the mob. And when you're in the mob, what do? You want to get made, right? And this is a thing where, back in the day, they put that into you, it's like a carrot in front of a horse. I'm saying everybody wants to get made. You want to be with a family when you're, in the neighborhood. Same thing with Paulie G. You wanted to get made. Me, in all honesty, I never wanted to get made. I never wanted that shit. I mean, I was a kid. I got caught up with the money. My incentive was the money, making the money. I had a lot of fun making money. And I didn't have a father figure in the house. So once I realized I was a greater force than my mother, who's going to stop me? Okay. I hung out in social clubs with the wise guys, Those were my father figures. Those were my uncles, Those are the guys I liked. They hand you a $20 bill or a 50, 100. I remember passing by Joe Sis one day. Joe Sis was an old-time wise guy. Always used to sit on the corner. And every time I pass him, he go like this, "How you feeling?" So I learned, and I always tell people, "How you feeling?" So you learn from these guys, and he always staked me. I remember one time he said, "You got any money in your pocket?" And he gave me a couple $100, and that was the time when him and Beansy took down the Brinks job in the '80s. You know, these guys used to go eat fish in Maine, take a helicopter, go eat fish in Maine, and then fly back to New York. Now, that's what being a wise guy is all about. Having a lifestyle like that and doing things like that, right? On the spare of the moment. That's what being a wise guy is all about. Being a wise guy today. I mean, I really don't know how to make a money. Of course, the drug game, there's a lot of money in drugs, but what are you doing today? For example, years ago, maybe 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I ran into Bobby the Chico. Bobby the Chico, I ran into him in a deli or something. And when he seen me, he said, "Oh shit," he hugged me. He said, "Jimmy," he said, "Listen, I always loved you," things like that. Whatever happened between us, because we had beef later on in life. He said, "Let's forget about." But, oh, these guys know how to make money back then. They're selling pills. They get scripts, they sell pills. This is what they do. You know, so there ain't no money in that business no more. I'm saying there's money in that business if you have money. You open up a construction business, you open up a restaurant, and you play the part. You go to your business every day, whether it's a restaurant, you get dressed nice, you host people, come in, bring them to the table. I mean, that's what being a wise guy is about. I mean, having fun with it. But the wise guys I grew up around, they were special guys. You know, you're never going to see them again, ever. It's a different time, a different place. And I remember all the good guys. I also remember the bad guys. And I see a lot of these guys glorifying guys like Scotty Fapiano. Me, I didn't like Scotty Fapiano. I didn't like Georgie Conti. I didn't like Frankie Mariconda. When Frankie Mariconda got killed, we went out to dinner because I didn't care for him. I'm saying I know he killed polio. Him and Georgie Conti killed polio, and we didn't do anything about it for the fact of these guys were wise guys. I'm saying we were a lot younger than them, and after polio was killed, and I'll talk about this again. Andrew Reynolds told us, "Jimmy, whatever you do, don't get into anybody's car." So we couldn't trust anybody. You know, so just think about being a young kid and having these guys bully you. You know, for example, Georgie Conti, a wise guy. You know, made with the Lucchese's, running with gas pipe. Uh, what's his name? Georgie Neck. These guys were killing people left and right. And we weren't even making our bones yet. And I'm going to tell you something. People talk about Paulie G, and if it wasn't for Paulie G, we would never formed the Bath Avenue crew. Paulie G was a big part of that. And Paulie G saved us a lot because Paulie G had this connection with Tommy Karate. And everyone feared Tommy Karate at the time. So, we could get into a lot of things on these things. And I didn't know Tommy Karate like Paulie G knew Tommy Karate. And these guys, when you go on YouTube, what they do is they twist your words. I'm saying they want to make you look bad. But they know nothing about Bath Avenue unless you were from Bath Avenue. But there's so many things to talk about, I tell you. I'm feeling good. John McKeevy, I'm feeling good, thank you. The street life is a setup. No honor among thieves, everyone backstabbing. But the thing is, you know what? That's one thing about the street life. You're always looking for the guy who has the money. And then when you find the guy who has the money, you're plotting on him. Right? That's the way it is. But I just woke up a little while ago. My hair's a mess, things like that. I'm getting ready to go in the shower. But, The stories I have, I'll tell you, going to prison at the age of 23 years old, that's a story. Every day in prison was a story. A lot of these guys, they talk about, you know, whether it's their father, whether it's their uncle, whether it's their cousin. But you got to have the experience in your life, the street. I'm saying falling down, get back up, doing prison time, losing friends, all that fucking crazy shit, you know. And I'll tell you, I really never thought I'd live this long. I didn't expect to live this long. When I was growing up, I lived for today. I didn't plan on saving. I never really thought I would live to 56 years old. I'll be 57 years old in November. So I'm getting up there, and my priorities in life are a lot different than the priorities I had back then. I just want to take care of my kids. I want to do the right thing. Uh, Unfortunately, when I was growing up, my parents never told me how important money was. Money's very important in life. You can't do nothing without it. So financially, you gotta go to work. You gotta make money. If you have a family, you gotta take care of them. Things like that. Look at the prices and everything today. Everything's sky high, right? I mean, if you get a two-bedroom apartment, what is it? 2,500 in New York City. Uh, the food cost. Well, you got to make tons of fucking money today to survive. If you got a family, you got to make tons of money. You can't only earn in one place. You got to have revenue coming in from everywhere. Seriously, it's fucking. It's crazy. It really is. It's nuts. But YouTube has this new thing now. You could give out subscriptions to the channel. So it's telling me I could give out subscriptions. So I don't know who has a subscription. I know I got like maybe 26 send 5 now. Okay, so how do I do this? Let me see how I do this. I got 45 people in the chat. So okay, so I send out 5 of them. I guess YouTube, Anthony Santoro. I'm not sure if I got you. But you know what? I don't even know how to work this stuff. I really don't. But we're going to figure this out. Okay? Give me some time. I'll figure this out. Let me see. Let me see this guy. I sent that another 5. Let me see if it catches you, Anthony. If they give you one. There you go. You got one. So you got a membership. So I sent out 10 memberships. I mean, I really don't know how to work it, but I guess automatically it goes to who they choose. But that's pretty cool, I like this stuff. I really do. Then I got my top fans up here I could look at. Kevin, you're number 1. Beck, number 2. Robert Ganji, gone fishing. Beautiful. Yeah, the old neighborhood. Well, look, I miss a lot of my friends, from the neighborhood. There's a kid I really don't talk about much. His name is John Padone. John Padone was he had a big personality. He was my childhood friend. He's a kid that I look back, like I really loved this kid. I mean, I loved all my friends, but he passed away like 2 weeks after my mother passed away, and it was heartbreaking. Because I don't know. They say he overdosed. I don't know. He took some drugs or something. It was a bad drug. And the thing is, no one wants to talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's a sad story. Whatever the case may be. But he's somebody I truly miss. He had big personality, and he's someone that when I first cooperated, it was a big thing. Nobody wanted to talk to me, things like that. This kid would always talk to me. You know, he would always talk to me. He said, Jimmy, he said, I don't give a fuck about nobody. He said, you're my friend. He said, I know who you are. You know, you were never an evil person. And but that's a kid that I miss. I really do. Good morning. Good morning to everybody out there. Little Georgie Adamo. Of course, I miss him. He was a great kid, a wild kid. Looking back, stories. Uh, look, there's a lot of stories I really don't want to talk about. I'd rather write them down and you read them. They're like some personal stories. But a guy I talk about from Bad Day is a guy, Joe Pizza. Joe Pizza was a fucking maniac. A big tough guy with big hands. Used to fucking give us like slaps. This guy was fucking a bad motherfucker. I'm saying, and Tommy Karate killed him. And anyone who says he wasn't a bad motherfucker don't know Bad Avenue. They're just full of shit. But there's a lot of characters. We had Crazy Albie. Crazy Albie used to drive down Bad Avenue, look, on a 10-speed bicycle with a fucking flashlight and go, wee, wee, things like that. So you had all these characters. Then we had this other guy, this short, fat guy. He would, back then used to sit on the stoop. This guy would come around with a police badge. He thought he was a cop. And he would fucking talk to us, and he would sing. He would sing opera. This guy, he had a great opera voice, but he was a little slow. You could see it in his face. He wasn't all there. And then sometimes we would bother him, like we would curse at him or we would push him, and he would come and chase us. And he had handcuffs. He would try to handcuff us. So there's a lot of characters in the neighborhood that I remember. I remember the guy on Bay Parkway, 86th Street. I forgot his name, but he used to play the guitar and he would sing. These are the characters that were in the neighborhood, Albie, Crazy Albie with the 10 speed. We used to bother him. Then his crazy brother would come and chase us, But look, looking back on the neighborhood had a lot of characters in it. The neighborhood's like a movie. It really is. I could just picture the neighborhood. I remember Joe's fruit store across the street from Nick's. Max is on the corner. Sal, the karate guy, up the block. 3-4 social clubs on every block. You go near 25th Street, Bay 25th and Bat. There's another social club over there. I remember the girls in the neighborhood. Donna, Tammy, Lisa Shulo, the celery sticks. We had names for these people, all these girls. You know what I mean? But look, we had fun. It was a great time to be young. And the memories last forever. They really do. Chris Capello, what's up, pal? How's everything? Vinny Bay Parkway, there he was. Vinny Bay Parkway used to play the guitar, right? And he was great. He was great, man. He had that little box over there, throw some money. Meanwhile, this guy had money. But he loved to sing. He loved to play the guitar. Good morning, Jason Smith. How are you? Bay 25th and Bad Meat Store. Yes. Mr. Truth, how are you? Thank you. RL380, thank you. But there was a lot of guys I really didn't like on the avenue. But being a grown-ass man now, it's a different story, It's a different story. But prison life too. Going to jail at the age of 23 years old. You know, being sent to Lewisburg Penitentiary. I mean, I don't wish that on any parent. I know I broke my mother's heart. I missed all those years with them. And then getting reindicted 11 months later when I come home. So, there's a lot. There really is. There's a lot. You know what I mean? I'll tell you about another guy. This guy, Vinny Zappola. The Vinny Zappola was a wise guy with the Lucchese's, Georgie Neck's uncle. The reason I mentioned Vinny Zappola was because who was talking about him? Frankie Gioia was talking about Vinny Zappola, how fucking Ubatz he was. He used to take some medicine. So this guy was in H block in Lewisburg, and I was in J block with Herbie Sperlin. And this guy at nighttime, he would go to, they would call for the medicine at nighttime, and you go get your medicine, and he would take his medicine. And this is a wise guy. Now, you're a wise guy. You ain't supposed to take no fucking medicine. I mean, that's like a sign of weakness. When you're in jail, you're taking medicine, that's a sign of weakness. Another point is all these wise guys that go to jail today and take drug programs. When I was in jail, you couldn't take a drug program. If you took a drug program, you were stupid. You were a rat. I'm saying that's a sign of weakness. You don't take drug programs. And that's how they look at people, So, there's a lot of things about the wise guy shit. You got to be very careful, Jimmy, did you know anyone who climbed up the Verrazano Bridge? Yeah, we used to hang out underneath the Verrazano Bridge before they had the fences around it. And we used to ride our bikes up and down that hill, and then they put the fences around it. I remember the Fort Hamilton Army base over there. It's still there, but we used to go in there. Now you can't go in there because they got everything is top security. You can't trust nobody. But we used to go in there. They used to have the festivals in there. I used to go there with my father and all my friends. We would go in there, and we would have a nice time. But you can't even go in there no more. Another thing we used to do, we used to go to Nellie Bly all the time. We used to drive to Nellie Bly on our bicycles from my neighbor to Nellie Bly. And we knew Valerie. Her brothers worked there. The sisters worked there. And we would get everything for free, because they knew we were from the neighborhood. But, looking back on those times, now today, it's like if you're fucking white, everybody hates you. There's another thing nobody wants to talk about. If you're white, people look at you, it's like they fucking hate you. I think Barack Obama actually divided this country with all that bullshit. I'm saying, but I'm jumping around, talking about all kinds of things. Let's see. I'm reading some comments over here. Good morning, Vinny. Chris Capello, how are you? Chris Capello, I remember Greg Capello near McDonald Avenue. Greg Capello, he was a wise guy with the Lucchese. He died in prison. I think he died of cancer, but he was another wild man. He was around Mikey DeSantis. Kind of fishing, yes, please write a book. A lot of rappers, YouTubers portray the street as cool, but people who've been there know it's fake and leads to a dead end. 86th Street gathering. No, I don't go to these 86th Street gathering things. In all honesty, for me, that's like cornball shit. I'm saying going back and reuniting, and I don't do all that stupid shit. I mean, some people are into that. That's not for me. I'm saying it's like, look, I enjoy music, but I don't dance. I'll sit on the chair and I'll bobble my head and stuff like that, but I don't dance. I wish I could dance. I wish I could dance like these kids that do all these break dancing. And back in the day when I was a kid, when they had the St. Finbar's dances and the hangouts, we used to go to St. Finbar's with the windbreakers and, do some floor work and backspins and things like that. But those are the nice times I remember. I remember St. Finbar's. I'll get into this. So Anthony Bright is Billy Bright's younger brother. Okay. And me and Anthony Bright, we had like maybe three fist fights. Okay. And Anthony Bright, he's a school teacher now. He's a great kid, always was a great guy. Okay. I call him a kid because I know him as a kid. But Anthony Bright was always a great kid, great guy growing up. And I had three fights with him. Okay. And it all started with the St. Finbar's. I mean, because I was Bay 16th and he was from Bay 23rd. So, we really didn't know each other, but, we knew each other, but we didn't know each other. And, we used to have the fist fights when we were kids, but that's how you made a name for yourself. You had a fist fight. And whether you won or lost, at the end of the day, it felt respect. You had respect, and we respected each other. And I saw him many years ago. I saw him in a bank, Anthony. And he said, Jimmy, he said, wow. He said, man, it's good to see you, things like that. But these people, look, I got nothing but respect for them, love for them. And, it was nice times. It really was. It was nice times, and the people that aren't here no more, it's great to be alive. It's great to, enjoy the people in your life, enjoy them every day because, look, someday, we got to check out. We're not going to be here forever, bro. The fun house. Yes, the fun house was, it was a nice time, the fun house. Here, so look, check this out. Watch this, guys. Look, this way you see where I am, okay? Let's see if you can figure out where I am. Got it? I don't know if you see anything. I won't tell you, but if you can figure it out, you figure it out. But I'm going to see my kids today. I love my kids more than anything. I tell you, I've been doing a lot of working. I tell you, I love to work. I love to work. Uh, I drive a truck for a living. I love doing it. I'm always in Manhattan. I'm all over the place. And I should have did this so many years ago. And I encourage people to work hard. I'm not into this, this free stuff, freeloading stuff and all the other bullshit. I'm not into it. I mean, there's nothing for free in life. You got to work hard. And, that's how you prosper. You work hard. That's what we do in America. You work hard and you pay bills, But Richie Bats. What's up, Richie? I hope everything's good with you. I think it's Richie that I think I was away with him. Who's this over here? Hot Rod. Yeah, I'll definitely let you know. You gotta email me, the real Jimmy Calandra at gmail.com. Email me and we could get together, okay? Because I'm definitely coming down there this year for sure. That's 100%. I'm definitely coming down there. Florida is It's beautiful out there, you know. Richie Bats, is that the Richie Bats I'm thinking about? Give me a thumbs up if that's the Richie Bats I'm thinking about. Of course, I remember you. Are you from Detroit? 79 people. It's good to see you. I tell you, you know what? I haven't been doing no videos. I haven't been I've just been taking care of my business, taking care of my kids, taking care of myself, uh, trying to get ahead in life. Allenwood, yes. Richie Bats, Allenwood. I hope you're doing good, man. I hope you're taking care of yourself. You're always a decent person. Richie, tell them about the card games we used to have. Remember the card games? Richie Bats, tell them about the card games. These guys, they look, if you never went to prison, I'm going to tell you, look, the card games we had in prison was fucking insane. I'm telling you. We had great card games. I'm telling you, fucking every night, every weekend, we put a table together and everyone will come to these card games. It was look, we had who we have there. We had a lot of guys. We had a lot of guys. But I tell you, it was great, man. Remember Richie Batch, you remember the card games? All I tell you, prison, all we did was gamble every fucking day. Gamble, read books, put your headphones on, walk the yard, listen to the music, work out. That's another thing I miss. I miss working out every day, you know. But out here, there's so many things to do. You got to make money to survive. Boston J, what's up, pal? Hope you're doing good. Jimmy, good to see you chilling, brother. Lewis, how are you? I hope you and the family are doing good. Love you, my friend. Haven't seen in a while. What's you, Mats? Yep. I'm telling you, we had a lot of fun. Doing I tell you, looking back doing prison time, yeah, it's a heartache because you're in prison, but we made the best of it. We had a lot of fun. Yeah, you have a lot of fucking assholes in prison, but I tell you, you got a lot of good people too. There's a lot of good people in prison. Who's this? I'm doing good. Yeah, it's good to see all you people. Thanks for coming in. If I knew how to drop a link, I would drop a link. Chicago Town Gangster is here. I don't know. I tell you, I've been to Chicago. Chicago's a nice city, windy city. What happened was when my brother-in-law Bruce was alive, he had this contract with T-Mobile, and he would slap me with thousands of dollars. He would go like this, Jimmy, I need you to go to Chicago. I need you to go to Detroit. I need you to go to LA. And I would take a plane ride down there. And when I get off the plane, there will also be door handles, advertisements for T-Mobile. And there would be T-Mobile stores, maybe 10 locations in that area. And what we do is we would represent them and we would advertise for them. And I would get these, I would go like to a Home Depot. I get these Mexicans. And I got a lot of respect for Mexicans. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. The reason why I respect them is because they believe in Christ. They believe in Christ Jesus. And they work hard for a living. And they are very family oriented. So that's why I respect Mexicans, And I would hire them and I would follow them. And they put these door handles on all the doors throughout the neighborhood. But that's when my brother-in-law Bruce was alive. He ended up passing away of cancer years ago, and he was a great guy. This guy, well, he could have been on Men's Health magazine. That's how healthy he was, and he caught this cancer and he died. So that's why I say every day, uh, be thankful for what you got. We're here for a little while, and we don't know when our time is next. So, be thankful, live in the moment, things like that. Let's see. It's good to see you on here, chopping it up like back in the day. Hot Rod. Yeah, Hot Rod. Take down my email, therealjimmycalandra@gmail.com. I think I remember you. Listen, I am coming to Florida. We should get together for sure. I want to look. I also want to do things with people. Eventually, I want to open a pizzeria or a bagel store, something like that. If anyone's interested in going partners, let me know. I'm not going to be doing this truck driving the rest of my life. I'm doing it now. You know, uh, I'm building annuity. I get annuity every hour. I'm just trying to focus on my retirement. It's not going to be a lot, but I'm going to be doing this for a little while, not the rest of my life. But I would like to retire, maybe uh, buy a pizzeria, a bagel store, things like that, because I always want to be involved. Cutting some nice cold cuts, things like that. Bring it to a nice area, family-oriented place where people could come in and you know, get some really good food. That's where I'm at in my life. And as we get older, we want to be productive. We want to give back to the community, things like that. And I also want to talk about, on some of my videos, I say I hate cops. I want to rephrase that. I don't hate cops. I don't hate cops. I got family that are cops. I don't hate cops. I have this thing with me. It's PTSD. I have, I get angry fast. So I don't hate cops. I want to let everyone know I actually respect cops, every so often. But, not all cops are good. I also want that to be said, So there's a lot of, freshening up of things that I say that I do have to, talk about and rephrase. But Boston J, what's up with you? Joey Smokes. Actually, Joey Smokes is doing good. I spoke to Joey. He called me. He's doing good, thank God. I miss Joey. Joey's a great kid. Great guy, actually, Joey. Haven't seen him. Haven't seen a lot of you guys. Even Boston J. I don't talk to Boston J every day. I haven't in common with Boston J. He's a great guy. We love baseball cards. We talk about baseball cards. I love baseball cards. I collect baseball cards. This is my hobby. This is what I do. So let's see. Hello, Jimmy. Been missing your videos. That's when you hit Florida, Jimmy. If it's South Florida, I'll hit you up. Recently went to Brooklyn, but won't be back for a while. Yeah, it is a shit show up there. Brooklyn's a shit show. It's not what it used to be. But listen, I'm always going to love Brooklyn. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn all my life. But, I'm glad everyone came on here. Thank you for dropping by. I really appreciate it. I'm going to keep this on for a little while. I'm going to shower up. I'm going to start my day today. It's a beautiful day. I'll show you what is out here. Maybe you catch a little of this out there. You guys see that out there? You guys see that? But that's where I'm going today. Today I'm going to take some sun, maybe sit by a pool, relax. I got a couple of my friends coming to see me, and I'm going to enjoy my day today. It's my day off. I'm going to see my kids and make a nice memory. That's what I'm going to do today. And I wish the same for all of you people. But this is just the beginning. I will be back. Uh, the thing is, look, you got a lot of jealousy in the world. People get jealous of people. You got a lot of scum on YouTube. Uh, People that don't have lives. People who want to knock people. You know, so that's the discouragement. Where in reality, if I ever really ran into these people, it would be bad. It would really be bad. Seriously. I'm a God loving person, but look, don't push me. Seriously, don't push me. I'm not the one to be pushed. But I'm reading all the comments. See what else is going on over here. Let's see. But guys, I tell you, I would like for everyone to, subscribe to my channel. Press the like button if that's possible. You guys could do that for me. Uh, of course, I would love for guys to become members to my channel. I really want to do a lot more things with my channel, and that's the reason I keep it. There's so many times I say to myself, maybe I'll delete it. Then I have people that say, Jimmy, don't delete your channel. People that are close to me, Jimmy, don't delete your channel. There's so many things you can do with it. And I'm not looking for uh, the publicity or that other bullshit. I'm not looking for that. I just want to encourage other people. Look, if I could do it where I've been, and come back to where I've been in my life, you guys can do it too. Look, there's not an end. The end is when you're dead. When you're dead, it's over. You know. But as long as you're still alive, you can make it. You can change it, and you could make a better way for yourself. So that's what I encourage. Doing the right thing, work hard. Nothing comes easy. That's for sure. I've been listen. A lot of people don't get it either. I'm home now. At home. I think 2000, the end of 2007, 2008, around that time. So I'm home 18 years. The other day, one of my coworkers asked me, he said, Jimmy, you still on parole? I said, parole. I've been off of parole 15 years now. I've been living my life, doing the right thing. And every day is a challenge and a struggle. Nothing's easy. I know that. Nothing's easy. Just give me a minute. But let me show you this room I got. It's a pretty cool room. Check it out. I'll give you a little view of the room. So this is like a little. This is called a suite, by the way. It's pretty cool. It's all right. It's nice. My friend Mo gets the big suites, but it's okay. A little table over here. you know. Over here, a little bathroom. Over there, you know, this is the living room. You got a TV over there. And then you go into the bedroom. See the bedroom? You got the bedroom. Then you got another TV over there. That. Then you got a bathroom. No, little bathroom over here. Not bad. Shower. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. But yeah, I get these. A friend of mine actually calls me, says, "Jimmy, you want a suite?" And I take it. You know, I get the peace from it. You know, I say to myself, I get a little peace. I get to see my kids. You know, they come in. We go to the pool. We go to the beach. Things like that. We have a nice time. But look, I got good people in my life, thank God, and I always return the favor. You know, anyone in my life that does anything for me, I am always here for them. I'm at their disposal. That's the way I work all the time. You know, and I tell that to my boss too. Like sometimes I'll use the truck, and I tell him, I say, listen, always remember, I'm at your disposal. I mean, you do for me, I do for you. We help each other. That's the way it is. You got to help each other. You know. Lewis, I don't even know how to drop a link because you know what it is? I got this new laptop. I bought this laptop like a while ago. I don't even use it. I paid over $2,000 for this laptop. I don't even use it. It just sits in the bag. You know what I do is I do my taxes on this stuff and stuff like that. But yeah, we got to get together for sure. You know, you ever come to the states? You know, you definitely gonna look me up for sure. And if I ever come to your you know, your country, of course I'm gonna look you up. You know, tell the girls on the better come out. They ain't here yet. They ain't here yet. Nobody's here. I'm by myself today, but they'll be here. They'll be here later on in the day. They're gonna be going to the pool. We'll be having some fun today. We'll be going to dinner and stuff like that. You know, I love my kids more than anything. You know, but it's good to come on here. You know, it's good to come on here. It's good to see you guys. Who's this over here? Anthony Santoro. I see you. But Hot Rod Molina, definitely look, take my email. Let's get together. I will be in Florida this year for sure. What's up, Will?
What's up, brother?
How's
So
everything?
my lady's driving her buddy back to. One guy that stays in the shed. She checked me in a hotel and the bed bugs bit the shit out of my arms.
Are you serious?
Yeah, this is a nice hotel. This and that.
Uh,
Because she won't answer the phone. I'm like, get the fucking money back because my arms are bit up, bitch.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
But,
Pissed off.
but listen, I'm doing live right now, so I'll call you back.
All right, find out about that guy. I'm ready to go to Vegas, though.
It, we're gonna do that, okay?
All right.
I'll call you back. Bye. That's Willie. Remember Willie, my friend Willie? My friend Mo. Uh, I haven't seen my friend Mo in forever. My friend Mo, I tell you, when I get in touch with him, he gets in touch with me. This is a guy I met actually uh, by doing YouTube, okay? And I talk about him. He's like an uncle to me now, this guy, you know. I got to know him. And the thing is, sometimes, you know, when people are doing things for you, you don't realize, you know, you're asking them for something. And honestly, I don't like to ask nobody for nothing, you know. But he became so close to me. It's like an uncle. And, you know, I ask him for things sometimes, but I really don't ask him anymore because, you know, you realize that these people do so much for you, you know. And, you know, you don't want to burn these people out. So, but every so often he sends me a ticket to Vegas. He says, Jimmy, you want to bring somebody? Bring somebody. So this year I'll probably be going to Vegas. So he just got in touch with me. He said, Jimmy, you wanna come to Vegas? I said, yeah, I'll go to Vegas. So I'm waiting for him, and I'm probably going to Vegas this year, and I'm looking forward to that. I love Vegas, man. Vegas is such a fun time. It really is. The last time I went to Vegas, I was in the Venetian, and that's when I met what's his face, Chaz Palminteri. He introduced me to Chaz. Sat down with Chaz. Chaz is a good guy, and I don't know if you saw the picture of Catherine Leducci I got, but that was the picture I took with her in Chaz's house. But you meet these good people, and you gotta you know keep these people close and protected. Because look, who wants to deal with anybody today? I'm saying if you want someone in your life, you want the right people in your life. You don't want the wrong people in your life. Everyone comes with some kind of baggage. So, we pick and choose who we want in our life. And you have a lot of scum on the earth. So you got to be careful because some people just want to sabotage you. Some people are jealous of you. You look, you don't have to have nothing. They're jealous of your character. That's all you have to have is character, and they're jealous of you. You know. Let's see. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Boom. Boston Jay's walking you through it. But I definitely want to learn more about this laptop, how to, drop the links and stuff like that. I don't even know how to drop a link. I wish I did. I would drop a link with you guys. Make someone come on here. Let me see if I could do this. I don't know if I could do this. Let me see what this is over here. So you could throw one of these out. Okay. You could throw one of these out. Let's see what this is. Engage with your audience. Let me see how this is done. Okay. Let me see how to do this. Lewis, you're right, Jimmy, my friend. That's why I keep my circle really small. Good friends only. My kids always ask how is Uncle Jimmy in New York. And Lewis, I definitely would love for you to come here because look, at the end of the day, it's all about the kids. My kids, my daughter's 17 and my youngest one's 12. And I said, where'd all the years go? I mean, I'm getting old, they're getting old too. Now my daughter's talking about, driving. She wants to get a license, things like that. And she's going to be graduating next year. She's going to be going to college. So we're talking about college. My mom and dad, we never spoke about college. I mean, as I got older, it was basically, I had to maybe make money and find a job or something, which that's another thing. We used to work for Mikey Scott's Western Beef, the Castellanos. So, but it was all about, even when I worked for them, at the end of the day, every time I used to work for Western Beef, at the end of the day, I would put all kinds of vegetables and fruits in a box, and we would put them in Mikey Scars's Big Lincoln, and when he would drop me off, we would all have vegetables and fruits. And this was very important, because you're bringing home, you're contributing to the house. You got to contribute to the house, and you're bringing home food for the family, and that's what makes you who you become. I'm saying you got to think about others. Don't only think about yourself. There's selfish people in the world. I was never a selfish person ever. But looking back at those times, and but look, there's still a lot of good stories. There's a lot of good men and people I can still talk about. So even growing up, I mean, and you talk about Anthony Sparrow. Anthony Sparrow, when I was a kid, look, I say hello to Anthony Sparrow. Hi, Anthony. And he would just, there was never hello back. The guy was a wise guy. He was always with another wise guy. I'm saying some days were bad for him. I'm saying, and and sometimes he would smile, hi Anthony, and like that. I'm saying, but I remember the time when, yes, what you doing? My daughter FaceTiming me. What are you doing, Mama? You with the dog? Oh, nice. Ask Mama if she wants to bring the dog.
What dog?
That dog.
Okay.
She could bring her.
Where do we go?
We're gonna go to the beach and go swimming. Yeah, you go to the beach. What Mommy said. That's up to Mom if she wants to do that, okay? Okay, yeah, I'll see you in a little while. I love you. Ah, yeah. I'm back. I'm back. Let's see what else we got going on over here. The education system changed and they cut back on gym, shop, and that's another. See what you just said, Hot Rod Molina. You're right about that. They cut back on. Remember when you were a kid? When I was a kid, they had all these vocational uh, things you would do. You would learn how to work with metal and things like that. They don't. They took all these vocational things out of the education system. Like the shop. Different. They took this all out. So even in these communities with these kids, it's like the sometimes I got to drive to DC. Sometimes I have to drive to Virginia. And I go to all these neighborhoods, and you go to these bad neighborhoods, and they have nothing. Even in Connecticut, I go to Connecticut. I go to these bad neighborhoods. They have nothing for the kids. You have to keep these kids busy. I mean, in the community, you have to build for them. There has to be some kind of community center for them to play something, to learn something, to give back to these kids. That's what they're missing, And now look at today. You got all these politicians committing fraud. Minnesota, uh, that state, this state. All these people are robbing our tax dollars. Look at this guy, Gavin Newsom, another piece of shit. In California, everything's skyrocket high. All garbage cans. These people are fucking garbage cans, you know, taking from the American people and put it in their pocket instead of rebuilding their community, giving it back to the people. So, there's a lot of bullshit going on in this world, man. It needs to be fixed. Everyone knows I'm a Donald Trump guy. Look, Donald Trump's not the perfect guy, but after Donald Trump, I want to see J.D. Vance, and then I want to see Marco Rubio. Really, all Marco Rubio. But Marco Rubio is great. I love that guy. That guy's awesome too. This country is so screwed right now. It's disgusting. It really is. But politics is, nobody wants to talk about politics. Nobody wants to talk about religion. Now they got the bells ringing in New York for the prayers, the Muslims doing the prayers. Come on, this is fucking ridiculous. This is crazy. Let's see. I'm reading some comments over here. Let's see, pause the school systems and universities are too gung ho, especially in these democratic cities. Look at New York. These people are having rallies every day. The Palestinians versus the Israel. It's fucking insane. Don't bring that to this country. John Marino. Jimmy, I never heard you speak much about Anthony Gonzalez. Was he a serious member of your crew? Well, Anthony Gonzalez, look, I actually like Anthony. Anthony he was a decent person. He really was, and you don't hear this from me too much, talking about these guys. But Anthony Gonzalez was a decent person. He wasn't a bad kid. He was and today I think he's a hard worker. And the funny thing is, you know what? I was going down Bedford Avenue maybe 2 months ago. Okay. And I see Anthony Gonzalez. He gets out of a car. I'm not sure if he knew, because I had a pair of sunglasses on in my car, but he might have saw me. I'm not sure. But he works hard for a living, that kid. He works hard for a living. I think he basically knows the streets, are garbage. Look, when you're young, we follow a path of our circle of survival, and as you get older, you go through experience in your life, who your friends are. My experience might be different than others. But anyway, Anthony, to me, he was a decent kid. He's one of the decent kids. He wasn't a bad kid. So that's what I have to say about him. So I hope you like what I said about him. I don't like talking bad about guys, but I will speak this truth, about anything. I don't lie, that's for sure. How about you guys? What's going on in your lives? Yeah, you got it for sure. But he was a decent guy, Anthony. You know, David Soros. What's up, Jimmy? You the man. Hot Rod. Back in the day, our parents would tell us to go out and come back at dinner. That doesn't happen anymore. It's the truth. That's so true. Hot Rod Molina. Back in the day, our parents would tell us to go out and come back at dinner. That don't happen anymore. Now, when my daughters go out, I tell them, be careful. I got my children on 360 on the phone. I know where they are at all times, and I always tell my kids, when I have my kids in the car, I give them words of wisdom every day. I tell them, I say, listen, make sure you listen to me. Listen to my words. My father didn't do this. He didn't tell me, uh, about life. Don't trust people and things like that. I tell my kids every day, don't trust nobody. I'm saying, never keep your back towards people. I'm saying, keep it, This way you're safe, and try to avoid eye contact with these people. You know what I mean? Just, but they're girls. I worry about these kids. I really do. In today's world, it's very it's scary, very scary. I hope you guys like this conversation. I hope you guys like that I came on. I know it's a little of everything. We're shuffling around, but there's a lot to talk about. I'm happy to be on here and to see you people, to see that you are, you know, tuning in. You know, I don't want to, everything's positive. Every day you got to be positive. Love you too. Thank you. I appreciate the love. Dinner together, brother. Slamming a knife into a table and throwing. Times change. Back in the day, you had the phone in the house with the big cord. You go all over the house with the cord, right? Now we got this. This is everything now. Our cell phones, everything. We got a checking account, a bank account, everyone's phone numbers. We got MapQuest, right? We Google anything. We talk to Siri. So, the phone's everything now. Jimmy, it's great that you're back, and everyone thing for you is great. Great friend. Thank you, Louis. I appreciate it. Send my love to the kids, to the family, and hopefully someday we we could get to sit down, have a nice dinner. My children could play with your children, and you know what? That's what life's all about, right? Michael, hi Jimmy. Is there anything in the works for a movie about you and your crew? Well, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I got a lot of stuff written down, things like that. But then it's like, you got to take care of other things before you take care of. The most important thing, you have to take care of yourself and the people in your life, right? So some things are more important than others. As far as a book, of course, I want to put a book out there and you know, and throw all my photos in these books and, tell stories of, how I got to where I am today, but I tell you, just looking back and doing prison time, uh, it was an experience. It really was. It was an experience. And I wouldn't want other people experience what I experienced in my lifetime, whether it's street, losing a friend, going to prison as a young kid. It's you know, it's hard. It makes you a little bitter at times, but it also makes you stronger. You learn a lot. But I went to Lewisburg. I got my GED. I took a couple college courses. I had Manny Madonna as guidance. The guy sat down with me, guided me, and they taught me a lot. Him and Herbie Sperling taught me a lot. So, Reddy, what's up, Bo? How's everything? Jimmy, do you remember a good time when you spent with Paulie G? Something funny that happened for a good earner? Your story, oh, great, and as an education. Well, thank you. I know. I appreciate it. Look, Paulie G. This is what I say about Paulie G. People say they know Paulie G. They say that Paulie G will kill his friend. Paulie G wouldn't kill his friend. I'm telling you, he wouldn't kill his friend. I spent so many nights with this kid. Okay, I'd be in his basement. Guys be coming to the door in the basement. Okay, Paulie G used to sell coke. Billy Bright come to the door. Tommy Karate come to the door. And Paulie G held all Tommy Karate's guns. He had all kinds of his. He had fucking knives, guns. He had grenades. All this shit. I'm saying? So all these people who talk this shit, believe me, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay? Paulie G was on his way, and his destiny was that, for sure. I'm saying because he had too much into this violence thing. Like we grew up in a time of violence, to make a name for yourself. Everyone was killing each other. John Gotti killed Paul Castellano. Everyone in the neighborhood was killing each other. Bodies were dropping left and right. It was a different time. So that's the reason why we got into our troubles. You know what I mean? Because we wanted to be, you know, killers, and we wanted to be recognized. We wanted to, you know, let people know we didn't take no shit from anybody. But it was the wrong path for all of us. Polio's dead, little Georgie's dead, Chestnut's dead, Padon's dead, Paulie G's dead. You know, Mike Morola's dead. Everybody's dead. The kid Leo's dead. Everybody's dead. You know, and I look back and I say, thank God I'm alive. Thank God I have what I have. Look, I talk to God all the time. I tell God, thank you so much for blessing me with my children, with my health, that I'm still here, for giving me my mother and father that I miss so much, and putting me where I am today. You know, at one time I was sitting in a prison cell wondering what my life is going to be like, you know, and now I'm out here and I'm doing it all by myself on my own backup plan. I got no help. I got no parents. I mean, my parents never even owned a home. They never owned a home. Okay. My father was supposed to buy a house years ago in Long Island, my mother told me, which he never did. If he would have bought that house in Long Island, I would have grew up in Long Island. But who knows what my destiny would have been. So, you got some rich people where they're addicted to drugs. So, everyone has a different destiny in life. And I really am. I'm so blessed. And everything I've been through in my lifetime made me stronger. And I look back on a lot of things. I come from a good family. I have a big family. I have beautiful aunts. I love them all. My uncles, I love them all. I always had love in my life. My parents taught me about love. At the end of the conversation, like I said, it was always, I love you. I love you too. So I'm very fortunate. I really am. I'm very fortunate. I thank God every day for giving me what he gave me and giving me the strength every day. And in the name of Jesus, which I love so much, Jesus, and I work for him up there because I know someday that's where I'll be, you know. But you guys can talk to Christ too. He's looking you know, to be in your life. So just talk to him. Sit down, talk to him, man. You got something going on, talk to him. And we lose people. We lose people every day. We lose people. And someday, you're going to say, I don't want to be here either. I'm saying. And someday he's going to take us too. But every day is a good day. Be positive, be productive. You know, try to help someone else out. We're all going through something. I got these people too that reach out to me. Some of them are in homes, and they reach out to me. They say, Jimmy, I'm so and so. I live over here. I love your stories. And I send them my number, and I talk to these people sometimes. And I try to give them some encouragement, some moral support, because you got to support other people. You got to help other people. That's what I want to be here for. I want to help other people. Anthony Santor, I was 15 years old in 92. In front of Nick's candy store, a kid looked in a black Cadillac car on base 17. Paulie walked over with Mike and asked the kid, looked in the back of that car, why? I'll tell you, but Paulie G was he was a skit. Look, so Louis, you said, do I have any good stories of Paulie G? I'll tell you a good story. Look, Paulie G had a mother Millie, okay, old Italian lady with glasses, okay, and I told this once before. She always used to cook. Paulie's father's name was Gino. Uh, Stocky man. You could see that back in the day he was strong and tough. And he had two sisters, Paulie G. Paulie G was the baby of the family, you know. And so when I used to go to Paulie G's house, Paulie G lived in the basement and the family lived upstairs. So we would go upstairs. So, every so often I'd maybe go to his house 4 or 5 o'clock and Millie's cooking. The house is smelling delicious, beautiful food, beautiful smell. And whatever she made, okay, she Jimmy, no, sit down and eat. And if you said, no, I'm good, no, sit down and eat. We want you to eat with us. They will push you to eat. That's how the Italian way was. They push you to eat. And everything she made, always, no matter what, she always made potatoes, grilled potatoes. Uh, you cut them up, you put them in the oven. Look, and there was always potatoes because the potatoes made you full. Whether if you made if she made pasta, she made potatoes on the side. That's what I remember. And just getting to know them at the time, and sitting down. It's just a nice memory. It really is a nice memory. You know, but we used to go buy jogging suits with each other. We would drive around in his Cadillac or my Corvette, and we would have pistols on us. We'd be smoking weed. We get pulled over by the cops. I remember one time Billy Bright's mother saved us. We're going down Bay 23rd. The cop pulls us over, and we both got pistols on us. Billy Bright's mother runs over and says, Paulie, you okay? Like she tried to distract the cop, and she's trying to tell the cop, no, these are neighborhood kids and stuff like that. And the cops let us go. If she don't come running over, Billy Bright's mother don't come running over, we take gun charge pinches. So, there's a lot to talk about. Even with Paulie G and Fabrizio getting caught with the gun on Bay 23rd, you know, Fabrizio tosses the gun, they jet off, they get pinched, they both get caught. They're co-defendants. And that's when, I don't think Paulie G really cared for Fabrizio when they took the pinch together, you know. But it is what it is. It's all stories. And looking back, a lot of shit happened. But I really appreciate you guys, tuning in, staying with me. Thank you. And I like to keep on doing this. Let's keep on doing this. And was Fabrizio involved in Paulie G's murder? Well, I think uh, I think he was involved. I'm sure he knew about it. You know, after they killed Paulie G, Fabrizio was getting tight with Joe Benanti. Fabrizio was always a good kid. He was always a good kid. Came from a good family. Me and him, we grew up in the same building together. Fabrizio's a wise guy now, but not a wise guy. Uh, it is what it is. You know, I'm just looking at the comments, guys. That's it. My friend Mo used to come on. He don't come on here no more. This guy. This guy don't come on here. Of course, I saw Joe Watts in person. Joe Watts, look, Joe Watts was he was a scary guy. So when I was a kid, I used to be around Bobby D, Georgie D. Georgie Chico had a club on Bay 13th and Bed, and I tell this story all the time. I remember when I was a kid, Joe Watts used to come in Georgie Chico's club with Frankie Botts. Frankie Botts and Joe Watts, you always saw them together. These were two guys that did a lot of work together. I'm saying these are two guys you didn't mess with. And then eventually Frankie Botts got killed. Nobody never knew who did it, but some people say it was Joe Watts. I don't know. I'm saying, but those were two serious guys, you know. But yeah, I remember Joe Watts. He always used to come to the club all the time.
There's a highwayman along the coach roads I did ride.
Philly, Jimmy, a great soul. There is no lying in you. Totally stand up. God bless. God bless you too. Thank you. I appreciate those words. Yeah, Joe Watts was scary. I mean, these guys were money makers too. But like I said, when I was growing up, I was everybody was a murderer. All these guys were murderers. There wasn't like talking about earning. You know, years before me, you guys, you're supposed to earn money, open up a store. I remember after we robbed the Staten Island Mall Bank, and Joe Benanti found out that we robbed the Staten Island Mall Bank through Paulie G, because we didn't tell anybody when we did something. Joe Benanti comes to me. He says, Jimmy, he says, I wish you would have told me. We could have used that money and we would have did something with it. Meaning, we. Yes. What are you doing? All right, so you're gonna drive it, right? Meanwhile, so I'm gonna drive there and drive back. It makes no sense. Just hop in the car and just come here. That's it. But tell these kids to decide when they're close together. Why wouldn't you want to come? They go to the pool and stuff. Walk down the boardwalk. Right. Where was I at? What was I saying? You like my ringtone? It's good, right? Willie Nelson, baby. Got my pistol by my side. I love that song. Jimmy, what was your favorite music? I used to love disco, man. I used to love disco music. Disco music. I used to love disco. You know what I mean? Old raps. The rap today is like garbage. I tell you, you know what? I look at the kids today, in all honesty, Like these kids with this red hair, this blue hair shit. It's just fucking ridiculous. It really is. I mean, I'm an old school guy. When I see that, and I tell my kids, don't ever put fucking red hair or blue hair on you. Please don't do that. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to me. I'm just not into that stuff. I know. I tell you, you're not the only one who said that. Hot Rod Molina. A lot of people say, they say, Jimmy, come to Florida. You know what it is, but you don't have the money out there like you have over here in New York, in Florida. If I went to Florida, I would have to get a job out there. I mean, I got to provide for my family, so I got to do something. Believe me, if someone called me and said, Jimmy, and they gave me an offer, and it was a decent offer, no matter where, it don't have to even be Florida, it could be anywhere. And I tell this to people all the time. If someone called me and said, Jimmy, come down here, I'll get you a job, you could do this. And if I could work with it, I would do it, because I want to get out of New York. I'm tired of New York. I'm tired of it. It's not what it used to be, you know. But yeah, disco. I used to love disco. All the old disco songs. Uh, that was the best, you know. I actually took my kids to go see the Michael Jackson movie uh, last weekend. So Michael Jackson. I used to love Michael Jackson. This guy created all music that brought people together. You know, you don't see this anymore. Where's the entertainers that are making music that bring people together? Today, what they're doing is they make music to divide people instead of bringing them together. You know, I'm just reading the comments over here. Jeremy, what's up? Let me give some shout outs to you guys. Jeremy, uh, Trent, Richie Batts, Anthony. Who's that? Anthony Farisi. Is that what that says? Anthony Farisi. Is that the real Anthony Farisi that I know? Give me a thumbs up if it is. Jimmy, remember the Eagles? Yeah, the Eagles was great. Fleetwood Mac, of course. All those old, those are look, Billy Joel, Elton John, Tom Jones. Come on, Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis. Uh, you know, uh, Barry White. Motown, all the Motown. I used to love Motown. Even the people were different back then. It was a different world. It really was a different world. I left off with Joe telling you that, or you could use, oh yeah, you could do something with it. So let me go back to, so when Joe Benanti found out that we robbed the bank in Staten Island Mall, later on, he said, Jimmy, he said we could have did something with that money. We could have invested it, you know, and I wasn't thinking, you know, but I would like to open up a business one day. I like to open a bagel store, like I said, coffee shop, cold cuts, some nice Italian products from Italy. I used to work for this guy Rocco on 60th Street in Brooklyn. Uh, I forgot the name of the place. It's an Italian place, but I worked there for 2 years, and I was working in the neighborhood for these people. I mean, these people really didn't know who I was. You know, I never changed my name, so my ID says Calandra, James Calandra, and so they didn't know, but they were good people, and they have all these Italian products on 60th Street, I think, off of Utrecht Avenue. So maybe 10th Avenue around there. But they were big family oriented warehouse, all Italian products. The boss's name was Rocco, and I really enjoyed it. You know, I got to know about all this Italian food, Italian products, things like that, the pastas, the salads, the cakes, you know, and that's something I would like to get into. Like, I would like to open up some kind of deli with a lot of Italian products that people want to get that they can't have, you know, because I'm into all like good Italian food. You know, that's what I like. So I don't know, maybe someday uh, that would happen, you know, because I don't want to drive a truck the rest of my life. That's for sure. Coluccio, there you go, Coluccio, D. Coluccio and Sons. Yes, Jojo. I worked there for 2 years, and the guy Mario works in the warehouse. He runs the warehouse over there. But I worked there for 2 years in the neighborhood. They didn't know who I was until later on. And then when I left there, they found out who I was, and they said I bet he had a gun on him every day. That's what he was saying. I bet Jimmy had a gun on him every day. But that's where I worked. I'm saying, but those are good people over there. You got Rocco and the brother over there. I'm not sure if he's still alive, but he used to smoke cigarettes every fucking day. They'd be standing out every day. And I would work the high low sometimes. I would pack the truck, hop on the truck, deliver all the food, stuff like that. Yep, that's a great spot. Jojo Christmas. Check out the band. My cousin's in there. Pretty big. Well, guys, you know what? This was really good today. I really enjoyed it. But, you know, anybody who wants to invest, you know, look, my email is the real Jimmy Calandra at gmail.com. So if you want to invest, my ears are open. I would love to get into something else. You know, like I said, I do not want to do this the rest of my life. Life is short. What do you think about all these guys on YouTube? Who's the guys you like? If you like any of the guys on YouTube, I'm going to mention some names. You tell me if you like them, okay? I mean, it's just a discussion. What do you think about Dominic Sicali? Do you like Dominic Sicali? Give me a thumbs up if you like Dominic Sicali. I watch him every so often. He was a wise guy with the Banana family. A lot of drama on YouTube, huh? How about uh how about Gene Borello? What do you think about Gene Borello? Speak the truth. Seriously, tell me. I'm just curious. How about Joey Molino? What do you think about Joey Molino? Reggiano? You like Reggiano? I think Reggiano's all right, right? Reggiano. I think Dominic Sicali. I think he's all right. Dominic Sicali. I don't know if these guys do live videos every day. Then you got a Goodfellow podcast. What's his name? I think his name's Joe something. Michael Franzese. You like Michael Franzese? How about Sammy the Bull? You guys still watch Sammy? Johnny A. Light. You got you got Michael D. Leonardo. I mean, these are all these are all the mafia, the mob genre. Now you got his son, right? You got the son. He's got a podcast too. Who else? Frankie Joya. What do you think about Frankie Joya? I think Frankie Joya. I like Frankie Joya. He tells you some stories, but then he don't finish the story. I don't know. Maybe that draws you in. I don't know, but I like to do something with Frankie Joya. You know, I like to do a segment with him. Uh, John Panisi, Wise Guy with the Lucchese's. What do you think about John Panisi? It's just a conversation. That's it. But these guys are still doing it. Still on YouTube, still doing their thing. You know, I want to. I want to put a studio together. That's what I want to do. You know, I like to put a studio together. Something like, you know, I went to Chaz's setup. I like Chaz's setup. You know, I like to rent a studio, put a studio together. I would like to start doing some interviews. Uh, actually, had Michael Vecchione reach out to me. He wanted me to do an interview with him. He's got a new book coming out. Uh, I told him I'll get back to him. I never got back to him. Mike, if you're watching this, I apologize for the fact of, I told you I was going to get back there. Just got so much stuff going on. I really do. I don't even have like a spot to even set up my laptop to even do a show. I'm saying, like, because there's so much going on in the house that I'm in. So, that's why I went live today, because I figured, let me go live. This is the time where I got a little time to myself. Let me reach out to you people. Anthony Farisi, thank you. Thanks for coming. It's always good to see you, man. Just take care of yourself and you know, stay well, bro. 100 years ago, Luciano, Frankie Yale, Capone were running around Brooklyn. Ain't that something? Yeah. And the story continues. It goes on and on. A new generation of people running around Brooklyn now, right? Lois, let's see. Sergeant, I seen Anthony Vigiano Jr. tell the story of when he was sitting in theater watching Goodfellas movie with his friends. As it says, Fat Andy is that's your father. Hmm. Frankie Joy don't finish stories. That's true. And that might be a drawing, right? Is that a drawing? He don't finish the story. He starts the story. He's got some good stories. He starts the story, but he don't finish the story. So, Hot Rod Molina, thank you. Appreciate it. Let me give you a heart over there. There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that, bro. Let me see. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. But yeah, I'll be back. I'll be doing this again. Grab a bear on me, Jimmy. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll actually I'm gonna do one even better. How about that? I'll uh I'll get my kids a little something with that. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm just watching the comments, see what's going on over here. Jimmy, the Sunday Chop It Up shows. You gotta start doing it again. Well, Jay, you know what? It's really not about it's all about finding the time and the space to do it. You know, I don't have it. I don't have the time or the space. In order for me to do a show, you know, I got to be locked in a room. Shut a door, set up a nice little spot, stuff, something like that. I just ain't got the time or the space. Jimmy, you got the best mob stories on YouTube, hands down. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Parks, I appreciate it, bro. Park Slope Kid, thank you. Appreciate that very much. Thank you. Melina, thank you. Same to you, man. Same to you and your family. But hey, it was good seeing to everybody. It was nice seeing you all. I mean, I'm just gonna keep this on for a little while. So I'll be in and out of here. I'm gonna keep this on. I'm gonna keep this running. So let it run, and I'll be back. Park Slope is where Capone grew up. I mean, you think about all these old time wise guys back in the day, right? Al Capone, Frankie Yale, uh, all these guys, all these big names. You got to remember something. All those guys, like, and then you had the younger generation of the guys that were looking up to them, right? Isn't it something you think about the neighborhoods where these guys grew up in, and how these wise guys in every neighborhood. I'm gonna tell you a story, seriously. The other day I was in Brothers, okay, on Cross Bay Boulevard. I went in there, and I don't give a fuck about nobody. I'm saying, if you know me, you see me, just leave me, let me be, because you don't want to see the fucking, it'll be a disaster. So just let it be. If you want to say hello, you say hello, but don't think you're gonna be anything funny is gonna happen, because that'll just be a waste of fucking time. So anyway, I was in Brothers, okay. Uh, I was visiting my cousin. My cousin don't live too far from there. I stopped there. I got a chicken cutlet, parmesan, uh, with mozzarella and vodka sauce. It was delicious. And I got 4 rice balls and I got a salad. Came out to over $50. It was really good. 2 sodas. I stopped by my cousin's, but as I walked out, there was a wise guy. I know who the wise guy was. I'm not even gonna say his name, but he's talking to this young kid and he's schooling this young kid. You know, and what I'm saying to myself is, this stuff is still going on. You know, the guys in the neighborhood are still grabbing young kids. You know, I mean, the young kids aren't doing the things that me and my friends did. Maybe selling drugs, but maybe the teaching them how to strong arm, teaching them how to plot on somebody. You know, also telling the young kid, you can't do this, stay away from that kid. You know, But what you're doing is you're taking away these kids' innocence, the innocence of being a kid. You know, that's the part of being a kid. You know, so this stuff is still going on in the neighborhoods. You know, recruiting kids to strengthen their platform. You know, the wise guys platform, and it's still going on. So just be careful who you socialize with. You could get yourself caught up in some serious bullshit. The power dude, what's up? How are you? Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Words of wisdom from Calandra. Positive and focused. It's me, Jimmy. So flow. What are you doing? I called you yesterday. You didn't answer the phone. What's the matter with you? You didn't answer the phone. I called you yesterday. I wanted to tell you something, but I forgot what it was anyway. There's cameras everywhere. You can't get away with anything. That's for sure. I tell you, there's cameras all over the place, all over. You go to New York City, there's cameras all over the place. It's insane. It's ridiculous. Because I was working. You must have been calling me. I was probably had something in my hand doing something. I was probably loading a truck or something. Hot Rod Molina. It's so flow crazy. So flow. But today I'm just gonna relax. This whole week I worked. I put in 27 hours overtime, and I worked 3 days, 3 regular days, and 27 hours overtime. So I'm usually working 40 to 60 hours a week. You know, it's a lot of hours. And it's a lot of time away from my kids. So the little time I get when I do see my kids, I try to value it. You know, but I really appreciate you guys. I really do. I got 85 people in the chat. Thanks for coming. Mo, where you at, Mo? Where you at? Let me see. Let me see this one over here. Hello, Jimmy from Colorado here. Just curious how, from your point of view, is the New York City mayor leadership going? I know you were concerned as tough to know the truth from here. Thank you, Louis. You too, pal. I'm just texting right now, guys. Bring back Bloomberg. I'll be right back, guys. Are you gonna call on Molly? You're going to the pool with Paulina. What else is going on? Hot Rod Molina. I mean, go to my email, send me something to my email, and I'll send you back my phone number. Okay? It's easier to get in touch with me. You can always send a text. My emails, I go to them like every other day. All you do is complain. You got to stop now. Give it a break. I'm just reading a text message, guys. What's up, David? Okay, let's see what's going on over here. David Cortez, what's up, pal? How's everything? 300 packs of cigarettes to Bam Bam. I don't remember that. I don't remember you, David Cortez. From where? Did you have a nickname? But I tell you, I remember when I was away, I used to gamble a lot. I had this black kid. This black kid was fucking. Boy, I couldn't beat this kid for nothing. Like I was going 1-on-1 with this kid. I was in Lewisburg, and we were gambling, saying, "Now, when you go to prison, what you do is you guys stay away from gambling, you stay away from drugs, and you stay away from the homos, right? Which is something because every that'll all give you a problem. So I used to love to gamble. Okay, me and Reynolds when we were kids, me and Tommy Reynolds, we used to go bet parlays on 18th Avenue and New Trick Avenue. Sonny Giuliani, Gambino Wise guy, he's the captain of Gambino. He had a brother Richie. He eventually got straightened out. Richie had a gambling parlor right in 18th Avenue car service. You walk in there, you give him your bet, and you give him the money, and he write down a piece of paper. Okay, say you wanted the Yankees 5 times, stuff like that. Hold on. Hello. Yeah, so we used to gamble, me and Tommy Reynolds. Paulie G didn't gamble. Me and Reynolds, we used to do a lot of gambling. We used to gamble. We used to bet the football games, and we would do round robins sometimes, and we would go make the bets with Richie Giuliani, Sonny Giuliani's brother. He wasn't a wise guy at the time. Became a wise guy later. And we would walk in there. We were young kids, 15, 16 years old, and we would bet parlays and round robins. And sometimes we would win. Usually we would win. We would get lucky and win. And that's what we used to do. I'm saying, and so when I went to prison, I was doing the same thing. Herbie Sperling was taking action, and whether someone won a bet or lost a bet, Herbie used to give me bags of cigarettes. These cigarettes were like 30 years old, wrapped up with tape, but they still use them as money. And like some of them were new, brand new, and someone with like 30 years old wrapped up with tape. And they give me fucking bags. He said, hey, go deliver this to so and so block or to so and so. And I'd be walking down when they call the bell with these bags and delivering them. Hey, this is from Herbie, you know? So that's how you paid your bills. You either paid them with stamps, cigarettes, or you would send, a money order, over the phone. But I did a lot of gambling when I was away. I used to gamble. That's how I did my time. I gambled. And, sometimes you would get in trouble. I had a couple fist fights here and there, because it does bring trouble. But, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to fight. I'm saying? And, but I had this black kid. I couldn't beat this fucking kid for nothing. It's like, I always thought he cheated, but he didn't. The kid was just too fucking good because, you know, usually the guy who's dealing the cards wins if you know what you're doing. Seriously. That's why, you have a dealer when the gamblers don't touch the cards, you know. So usually the guy who's dealing the cards wins because, I mean, you cheat. There's a lot of cheaters. People think they don't, but look, people cheat. It's easy to cheat. That's how you win. Who's this? Johnny so and so, Skinny Joe. He's funny. Skinny Joe, he's funny. He's fucking character. I think he's funny. Remember, I beat up. I'm from New Hampshire. Can't play poker. David Ortez. I don't remember any of that shit. Sorry. But you mentioned some Green Eyes. I remember Green Eyes. I wonder if Green Eyes is still in jail. I know he had a life bid. I remember what's the big fat guy's name? The black guy. I forgot his name. He used to gamble too. Then you have Riddy. Remember Riddy? Riddy used to gamble. He was from Boston. I wonder if these guys are even home. What's up, Jimmy? Hope all is well. What's your opinion on all the drama on YouTube with Joey Molino and Dominic Sicali? I tell you the truth, I don't even follow this shit. I don't even follow it. I'm in my own world, man. I don't even know what the fuck they're beefing about. Tell you the truth. You should chat with me and Green. Well, if you chatted with me and Green, tell them how I was in prison. Tell these people. Tell them how I was in prison. When you go to prison, what you do is you stay to yourself. You're going to meet some friends. You're going to meet some people that you have certain things in common with them. It could be family. It could be, certain things, And then, there's certain people you meet, you don't have nothing in common with them, you know. But I could talk about a lot of guys I did time with. Some guys are fucking creeps. Some guys are really good guys, It's just the way it is. See, it says, look, Jimmy had a single cell. I had a single cell. When you're there for so long, get a single cell. Yes. You remember TJ from Milwaukee? Yes, TJ from Milwaukee. Yes, I remember him. Brandon. Yes, I do. I remember Brandon. Brandon was from Boston. TJ was from Milwaukee. We ate together. Yes. We had a squad in there. Yes, we did. What's that say? Hi, Jimmy. Hannah, Annette, Panoza. How are you? How's everything? Thanks for coming by. Press the like button. Subscribe to my channel, please. Frankie Fapp. Yes, Frankie Fapp was there too. He was there, Frankie Fapp. He sat at the table. Yes. Kevin Weeks. Yes, Kevin Weeks was there. Yes, he was. Big John. Kevin Weeks was cool. You had Tommy there. There was, we had a good crew. Me and Kevin Weeks, we hit it off. Kevin Weeks always cool. I mean, some people you hit it off with, some people you don't hit it off with. That's just the way life is. You know, some people you don't like, some people you don't care for. Ralph Natali was there. I used to sit down with Ralph Natali every day and listen to his fucking stories. I'm saying I had some words with him at one time. You know, he thought he was bigger than he thinks he was God's gift to the feds. Ralph Natali. He was a nice guy. I enjoy his company. I enjoyed his stories. He had something about him that I liked. But I had some words with him. You don't remember when you and Green lost all the cigarettes to Bam Bam playing pool. Bam Bam and you and Green started playing. I don't remember that. I remember Bam Bam. Bam Bam was fucking nuts. Bam Bam. He's a fucking nut job. I wonder what he's doing now. He was like a woodpecker or something. Like he joined the gang or something. I don't know what the fuck. But yeah, I remember that. I worked in the kitchen. So when I was in prison, I worked in the kitchen. Now, when you work in the kitchen, you get to make food. I can make my personal food. I mean, you could get some hard-boiled eggs. You bring them back. You want to make a loaf of bread, Italian bread. You make bread. You have access to all the food, and because I was the cook, I was a baker, and I was a cook. Okay, so when I do time, I want to occupy myself. I'm saying use it to my advantage, and learn something. So I was into food. I used to love to cook. I still love to cook. You know, but I used to bake cakes, all kinds of things. I'm telling you, I used to love to do all this stuff. And the perks of working in the kitchen was you could bring some food out. You bring it to yourself, and you could also bring food for other people too. I'm saying, that's the perks of working in the kitchen. You don't remember when you and Green lost all those cigarettes? 200 cartons of cigarettes? I don't remember that. What did we do? Did we work out a deal with him? Because we didn't have no 200 cartons of cigarettes. What did we? He must have broke that down. We must have gave him something else. But Green Eyes was a good kid. He caught a life bid. He had a couple bodies on him. He never got home. I'm not sure if he ever got home. He's from the Bronx. Yes. What happened?
Nothing. I'm just grabbing a coffee and I'm gonna get the medicine off.
All right.
And I took money out of the bank because I'm sorry for people. And more people do it. They get their action. They just don't even see it anymore. Next time,
Yeah, that's the best thing. I don't do. Yeah, because they charge special money for that. So anyway, yeah, so anyway, you know, like this one, it's nice. It's Cali coming. You could bring me too if you want. You could call. Actually, you said go to it. You want to bring me for it. Just bring some groceries for it. Just say if you want, you can. If not, that's fine. All right? I should be with me. Come on. All right. It's fine. You stay with me. All right? No, I'm going to release it. I'm not going to release it. No. I'm not going to hear that. I don't care. Don't bring nobody here. I don't want nobody around. Nobody. See you later. You want to come? tired of the drama. So I'm taking it out of my life. I'm letting you know. Yes. What do you do? You want to come? Yes or no? Well, what do you have plans for today? You want to do that? Just tell her my dad wants me to go with him. Just tell her you got to cancel plans because my dad, I have to do something with him. You can go to the pool, not Alina. You go to the pool, you can walk around, there's a nice little room over there, you can watch TV, watch a movie, whatever. All right, get some meat. All right? Just tell her, no, I'm sorry I got to cancel this. My dad, he won't be sick for it then. All right? All right. All right. Who's that? Big arms. Big arms. What's up, baby? Big arms. Is your arms bigger than mine? Let me see. Your arms bigger than these? These arms? What do you think? How's everyone doing out there? Jimmy, New York's too expensive. New York is crazy expensive. It's ridiculous. It's retarded. You don't even know how ridiculous it is. It's retarded. Let me see what this is over here. What is this? Big arms. Jimmy's been working out. uh, Guys, give me a minute. I'll be right there. I'm back. All right, what are we talking about? Jerry Papa used to dress like a pimp. So stay with Catherine. What she said. You want to stay with her or what? No, it's what you want to do. You want to. So call her back and say, you know what, okay, you know what? told my father I don't want to go. That's it. Just tell that. Just tell it. Tell it. Hey, pull it back. Because I don't want you to come here with your mother. Because I said just told your mother when you come here. So yeah, pull it back. Okay. I'm not gonna be around your mother's drama. No way. I'm here to have peace. Don't come here. I don't want you here. You're gonna learn. Don't fuck with me. You're never gonna change. You're always gonna be who the fuck you are. And I don't wanna be around fucking you. You're not gonna fucking drama. So you are fucking drama. You're not gonna fucking be around me. You just fucking ruin my day. Stay where the fuck you are. Let's see what's going on over here. Jimmy, do a cooking show. Big Arms, Jimmy, I have a question. Go ahead, Big Arms, go for it. In Calco's book, Anthony's Boy, is it accurate and is it worth the read? I don't think it's accurate. I think there's a whole bunch of bullshit. Joey Calco, the Prince of Beth Avenue, I think it's a bunch of bullshit, in all honesty. No disrespect to Joey, but the guy who wrote the book, that guy also reached out to me, and I got some stuff too. This guy wanted to make me into like an assassin's assassin. I said, bro, I ain't no fucking assassin. They want to make everyone out to be an assassin. Joey Calco should write his own book with his own story of his life, how he was a kid and his father used to beat him up with hammers, and how he became, this crazy kid and got into all this trouble. He's got his own story. He don't need that guy to do a story. That guy was just trying to sell books. That might have been Boozy the Chico's funeral, yes. Hot Rod Molina. That might have been Boozy's funeral. Are you here to win? That's something, right? That fucking win. Big Arms. I would love to go to Denmark. Maybe someday. I would love to go to Denmark for sure. Maybe someday. Joseph Hemblin. Good to see you, Jimmy. Thank you. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. I just want to get my channel going again. That's why I came on. I figured, you know what? Let me just get this algorithm going. Then once it's going, I start giving a couple more stories. I do stories. I do some interviews, things like that. Big arms. If I ever come to Denmark, I will definitely let you know, 100%. And the same thing if you ever come to the States, you look me up. Let me know for sure. Ah, look at you. You just text me. You're watching me. I love you. You know who you are. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I miss you. One minute. Well, I don't know if your mother's going now. I don't know. We'll see. Because dealing with her is, don't worry about it. Okay? If she don't come, she don't come. I can't deal with her no more. Okay? I'm not going to be dealing with her no more. friends on the phone. I'll call you in a little while. Love you. Love you. Love you so much. You're a disappointment. You're a disappointment to me. You're a disappointment to my kids. Where that can't stand. You gotta stay the fuck away. Sex sucks. I've been playing this game no more. I've been playing this game for years and years and years. Guess what? The game is over. You'll find somebody who I know with these. I want the low lifes. Let the low life enjoy your life itself. I don't like kids too. I don't want you around me anymore. That's it. I'm home. I had enough. Yes, absolutely. And that takes a check. Because you don't have kids. I had kids. Big difference. Miss you. Love you. I hope you're doing good. I'm so happy you're still here. Just take care of yourself. Maybe someday I can get to you soon. That's it. Love you. Miss you. Jimmy, I'm a moderator at Sakali's channel. We have spoken about you over there. We want you to come on. You are being sent for. You're being sent for. That's a good one. I'll come on his channel. I have no problem with that. Just we got to make a date. I got no problem with that. I'll come on his channel. Everyone hit that like button. Boston J, I miss you, buddy. Tell your dad I said hi. Lewis, see what you just said? I don't even know how to pin message. How do you pin a message? I don't know how to do it. Let me see. I don't even know how to put your message. Like, remember, you used to be able to put the message up here and you would see it. I don't even know how to do that. But I'll tell you this, Lewis, you talk about the Epstein files. Lewis makes it. He says, Jimmy, I don't know how much we can talk about it on YouTube. What is your take on the Epstein files? Do you think our politicians are blackmailed in Western countries to do wrong things? I believe they are blackmailed. And those Epstein files, I tell you, there's a lot of shit going on with that. You don't know what to believe. But those victims, they know the truth. All those victims know the truth and they know the faces. So just believe what they say. But there's definitely, I think there's a lot of blackmail going on. And if you look at it, Donald Trump, he's bombing Iran left and right. I mean, just to take the focus off the Epstein files, maybe. I don't know. I'm saying, but there's a lot of shit. We could also talk about Charlie Kirk. Look at Charlie Kirk, how they assassinated him on live TV. I'm watching Charlie Kirk. Wait, also he gets fucking shot. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? But you know what? There's a lot of fucking evil going on, and you got to be careful what you say, and who you put yourself around. A lot of evil in the world, man. A lot of shit's going on. Even in this country, these people come to this country. Look at the United States. They come to this country and they become a politician. And they want to run for mayor, governor, senator, congressman. They want to take over our country. What the fuck is going on? Something needs to be done about all this shit. I mean, this is a Christian country that was built on Christianity, not Islam. So, and you look at all their countries turn to shit. So what the fuck you want to come to this country for? Don't come to my country and tell me how to live my life and try to push your bullshit on me. No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to work. A lot of Americans are tired of this bullshit. Enough is enough. The good old boys down in the South, they're tired of all this bullshit. They're not going to put up with this shit. No way. Big arms. Jimmy, I saw some footage of you at Mikey Scar's wedding. Who's the other youngsters? You were what? That was Albert Slavin, and that was John Polio. John Polio was the kid in the middle. He was murdered in 1988 at the age of, I think he just turned 19 years old. But anyway, his sister married my Uncle Paul, my mother's brother. So she's like family to me. But he was a really good kid, Polio. That was a tragic time, something I always think about. I think about him all the time, and it affected my life in a way where it made me angry and mad. that something like that could happen. But this is what we were dealing with. We were dealing with a lot of evil. You know, they killed this kid for no reason. And after they kill you, they make up lies about you. Maybe you fuck someone's wife or girlfriend or something. It's all bullshit, bro. It's all fucking bullshit. You know, they kill you because they don't like you. That's why. You know, but that's another story. But those are the kids I was with at Mikey Scar's wedding. It was Albert Slavin and John Polio. And that was a nice wedding. There was a lot of wise guys there. It was a nice time. You know, Tony girl looked so beautiful that day. Mikey. You know, I always say this about Mikey. You know, look, I'm a grown man now, I'm 56 years old. I don't glorify these guys. You know, some guys maybe, were better than others. But Mikey Scars, he wasn't like these other guys. Some of these other guys were real fucking evil motherfuckers. He wasn't. He basically picked us up every day, drove us to work with him. We had a nice time. We listened to James Brown, Donna Summer, stuff like that. He made us get a paycheck at the end of the week. Uh, we put some food on our tables and things like that. It was a nice time looking back, and it's a memory I'll always have. We're living through big changes and big times now, my friend. Western countries are Christian. Will remain that 100%. There is a lot going on for sure. There really is a lot going on. So also, look, the worst thing in life is a bad relationship, toxic people in your life. You got to take toxic people in your life. I was in a bad relationship. I was in a great relationship that I basically fucked up, but I was also in a toxic relationship. And, I really had enough of toxic people. So I put my foot down and I really had enough because I want better for myself. I want better for, look, when you find somebody, and we're going to talk about relationships. When you find somebody, look for somebody. Look, looks are important, but they don't got to be fucking gorgeous. Look, if they got a good heart, okay, and you could build with that person, and that person, you could take care of each other, because that's what it's all about in life. Finding somebody that you can tolerate, because we all got flaws. And I talk about this because you see me texting back and forth, right? This is somebody that I have to stay away from, you know, and I plan to. Because if you're going to bring drama in my life, I got to say goodbye. I go bye. I'm too old for the nonsense. I don't want it no more. I just want peace in my life. I want to do the right thing. I want I want to build now. You know, I want to make something work for me to build a future. You know, whatever's left of the future. Anyway, that's where I am. So I got 93 likes. I got 46 people in the chat right now. I mean, look, we could do this all day long. You know, today's my relaxed day. I'm gonna relax today. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm relaxing, taking it easy. So guys, look, I'm gonna jump in the shower. I'm gonna keep this on. Let it keep on rolling. What I'll do is I'll cut this up later and I'll put it into shorts. Lewis, it is what it is, you know? It is what it is. Big arms. So you're Big Dom's moderator. Actually, I told the Goodfellas podcast that I would go on his show. I never went on his show, so I gotta do a show with him too. Eventually, I want to do a show like when I have something to promote. But guys, let me go in the shower. I'll be back. Okay, do your thing. I'll be back. Okay, guys. I'm gonna keep this running. I just want to get this algorithm going. I'll be back. What's up, guys? Hawaii's. Which is the bottom movie? Sleepers of Bronx Tale. I don't know. They're both great films. Jersey girl, how are you? Big arms. How you making out? Hot Rod. Boston J. My guy. Steak and eggs sounds good. In all honesty, today I'm gonna have a nice chicken salad and a dish of pasta. That's what I'm gonna eat sometime today. I clean up pretty good, right? Pretty good. I look good. I clean up pretty good. Just relaxing. Like I said, I usually work between 40 to 60 hours a week. I really never get to relax. Last week, what I did was I helped my cousin paint the house. That took 2 days of my time. I took my kids to go see Michael Jackson movie, and then we went to we grabbed a lunch. But look, I'm dealing with some stuff in my personal life, just like you guys. I'm uh, I'm just like you guys. I ain't no different, believe me. I got shit going on in my life that what I just keep to myself, and I let the process work. What's that? Michael Jackson? I loved it. I love the movie. Look, I grew up to Michael Jackson, and I remember when he doing the moonwalk. Michael Jackson, man, that guy was great. You know, you know, and the government they make stories about all these fucking people. When you're doing good and you become powerful and you got millions of people following you, the government right away gets upset. You know, but and then people make up bullshit stories about you because they want a payday. So you got to watch out for that. Be very careful. That's why you got to be very careful of the people you put around you. You put the wrong people around you, they can sink your ship. Jersey girl, how are you? I've been waiting to hear. Let's see what he says. Wait there. You know what? You know what? See, Jimmy, did you know that Mutual Brothers on May 11th? Mutual, I'm not sure. I probably did. You got it. What's their first names? To all you people. Who's this? What are you doing? doing? How's everything? Where are you? Where are you? No, I can't see you. I see you now. Where you going? How's everything? How's everything? A few weeks ago, FBS was doing lives from Florida. He used the background he used to use with the nice house and piano. He was joking, said, "I'm live from Jimmy's house." He's funny. Jimmy questioned, "Did you see the video of Calco attacking his customers in his shop? Believe he got years for that or something like that. What's your thoughts?" Big arms, yeah. What happened was there was two customers, to my knowledge. Uh, he made them a calzone or some pizza. He made them a dish of pasta, whatever it was. They weren't happy with it. They wanted their money back, returned. Joey is a hothead sometimes, and he had a pistol. I guess they threatened him. I'm not giving him all the fault. I think the customers set him up. In all honesty, and Joey's easy to set up because he's got a hot head. Right away, he went for the gun, and he started. He went to go pistol whip them. He missed. He flew himself over the counter. I'm sure he got the best of them. Joey's pretty good with his hands, and the cops came. He gave them the video, and he did 10 years for that. So it goes to show you, you got to be careful. It's easy to go to jail, and it's very hard to get out. So you got to be careful. And you can't. Being that he was a known felon, he had a couple of felonies already, and he got 10 years for that gun charge. So yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Absolutely. But that's behind him. He's doing very well now. I know he's in Florida. He's got a nice pizzeria, got a nice establishment, and he's doing good. And anybody who thinks they're gonna fuck with him, believe me, don't fuck with him because he will fucking kill you, that kid, for sure, 100%. I think anybody, including myself, if you fuck with us or our families, there's no doubt in any one of our heads. We know what we gotta do. I mean, there's a beginning and there's an end, and we're not gonna tolerate nobody's bullshit. That's for sure. We've been through dark places, a lot dark places. Do you know the guys who hung by on 16th Avenue, known as Bolino Faraci? Yeah, I know those guys. I know who they were. But I didn't see the Gregory Scarpa film. Anybody see the Gregory Scarpa film? What was it called? Gregory Scarpa film. I haven't seen it. Anybody see it? Wow, Greg Albee. Holy shit. Who? Of course I know Greg Albee. He was the strongest guy in the neighborhood, Greg Albee. His sister is Marianne. Kidding me, Greg Albee. Then you had Jimmy Neck. Now you talk about these guys. Now, that's the club, Robert Blasco. That's Deja Vu Club. Now this is a club guys don't know. People haven't been around. All the Johnny Come Latelys, they don't know about the Deja Vu Club, Robert Blasco's club. That club was located between Bay 16th and Bay 17th. And Robert Blasco, he was a tough guy too. But Greg Albee, kidding me? Sure, he was a fucking very strong guy, kind guy, took no shit from nobody. But yeah, you got Jimmy Neck, you had Vinny Perdue, you had the Amari brothers, Frank Amari, Minnie Amari, Mike Amari, Sally Moss, Anthony Moss. Anthony Moss, rest his soul. He was became a police officer. He ended up getting shot. They killed him. But there's a lot of stories. Antoinette lived on top of Deja Vu. She was a fucking maniac. Pat Albee. A lot of crazy things. Oh, you played football with Greg? Yeah, I remember Greg. Of course. No, they weren't made guys. Those guys weren't made guys. Those guys were neighborhood guys. Where, they were members of a club. They were Robert Blasco. Robert Blasco wasn't a wise guy. But, the guys in the neighborhood respected the wise guys, But they had a couple bodies, these guys. They never got straightened out, but they had their own bodies, They were in and out of prison. They were men. That's what they were, men. And they had their own little club. I used to go in that club at nighttime and sweep the floors, find a $20 bill, a little something here, a little something there. But those guys, there was times that there's some things that went on in that club that were pretty crazy too, Antoinette was part of the club too. Antoinette wasn't part of the club, she was on top of the club. But she was nuts. Yeah, they can have their own clubs, of course. Absolutely. Long as respected the guys in the neighborhood. They were respectful. It was a different time, a real different time. But guys, I'm going to end this with, look, everybody out there, take care of yourself. Uh, thank you for showing up. I really appreciate it. I'm going to continue to do these videos. Maybe later on I'll come on again and I'll do a video. I got a lot of things in my mind and I got some stuff going on. Well, listen, look, it was a nice time seeing everybody. Thank you all for joining me today. It was a nice day, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, enjoy this beautiful day. Rain, sun, snow, whatever it is. Listen, you wake up, make the best of it. Tell your parents you love them. I don't have my parents no more. I wish I could see them again. You got someone you got a significant other, appreciate them, work together. It's all about helping each other and things like that. But thanks again. I love you all. And I guess I'll see you on my next video, guys. Unless I see you in person or something. But just take care of yourself, okay? Thank you again, guys. I'll see you soon. Read a couple more comments. Big Arms, thanks for coming by. Anthony Santoro, Thanks for coming by. Godspeed to you. Please tell hello. See, I had my run-ins with Bay Parkway boys and King Highway boys. The Bay Parkway boys and King Highway boys. Tough kids back then. Tough kids. Be well, Jimmy. Jersey girl, thank you. Holy Boop is back in the 70s. All right, guys, take care of yourselves, okay? I love you all. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.